The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Quit Tocchet, you've done it again.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Begg, sports reporter for Daily Hive Vancouver, joined as always by my co-host, Kyle Bowen. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football, baby, on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Speaking of betting, Rick Tocchet bet that life would be better in Philadelphia, signing a shiny 5-year contract worth a reported $25 million. Man, oh man. And it was going great for a little bit of time. And now I would say the vitriol towards Rick Tocchet in Philadelphia is way worse than anything he's ever faced in Vancouver. So what the hell is going on with Rick Tocchet? We'll also go around the NHL, get to some news and notes as well. But Kyle Bowen, the guy who first uttered the words "Quit Tocchet," how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just out here living the dream. Hey, I did some writing today for talking about Ex-Canucks. I talked about why I think Roberto Luongo is the only candidate to replace Patrick Allvin, who has not been fired yet, as Canucks GM, or, name him the president. What I'm trying to say is Luongo will save the Canucks. Hit the link in the bio. We got a couple more important links in the bio as well. We'll talk about that throughout the episode. But, man, oh, man, Rick Tocchet, what are we doing? Rick Tocchet talk, Quinn Hughes talk today. Trevor, should we tell the listeners again about our ex-girlfriends leaving us for girls? Both of us?
It happened to both of us. It's true. I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but it happens, man. People leave, people grow, and some people stay the same.
Yeah, and some people ain't big enough for no. What I'm trying to say, no. Honestly, sometimes I think on why it happened, but everything happens for a reason, Trevor. And now I met the love of my life, and if my original ex didn't leave me for a girl, I wouldn't have met who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, okay? Where am I going with this? Oh, yeah, Rick Tocchet, ex-Tocchet, doing the same thing that he did with Pettersson that he's doing with Michkov. I don't know if I buy that. I think I blame Pettersson more than I do Rick Tocchet, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Trevor, explain.
Well, look, Rick Tocchet's come under a lot of heat recently. Took a lot of heat after his post-game press conference after another Flyers loss on Saturday. It was their 11th loss in their last 13 games. Kyle, before that stretch, they were actually 6th in the NHL in terms of point percentage. Like they were shattering expectations. It was largely the Dan Vladar show, but things have really gone off the rails for the Flyers of late. But even when they were playing well, there was a lot of heat on Rick Tocchet for his usage of Michkov. Now, Rick Tocchet, he was interviewed on a Flyers broadcast, and one of the guys just asked straight up, basically, about Matvei Michkov and said, he thinks he deserves more ice time. He's averaging 14.28 per game right now, I believe it is. He has 28 points in 53 games. And remember, this guy was supposed to be on, an Ivan Demidov-like level. He was supposed to be an elite offensive talent. And he looked like one last year, right, in his rookie season. A very similar rookie season to Pettersson, point per game, Calder conversation, all that good stuff. It's gone off the rails this season. But Rick Tocchet just flat out said when he was questioned about Matvei Michkov, said, he came into camp out of shape. And where have we heard that one before? And Kyle, maybe this is where do you side with the player? Do you side with the coach? Most Flyers fans, I haven't seen a single one blaming Michkov on this. They're pretty much all blaming Tocchet for the usage here. And look, maybe there's a case to be made. We're not the Philadelphia Flyers beat guys. Maybe there's a case to be made that Michkov didn't deserve the ice time or came into camp out of shape. But regardless, we're 2/3 into the season now, and he's still stable to the third line. Didn't get a single minute of ice time during overtime the other night against the LA Kings. The usage is baffling when you think about how important Michkov is to the organization. And this Flyers team right now, they're not competing for a Stanley Cup, so you need to be developing the young guys, and Rick Tocchet clearly has not developed Matvei Michkov here. Now, it makes me think back to his time in Vancouver. There weren't a lot of young guys here, but like, I don't put you on the spot a bit, but like, what are your thoughts on how he developed some of the young guys here in Vancouver? Because Pettersson wasn't necessarily a young guy. I know a lot of Flyers fans are saying he ruined EP. Now he's ruining Michkov. They really aren't the same situation, though, are they?
No, and remember, like Trevor Zegras is having a pretty good season outside of maybe like the last 10 games or whatever. I haven't checked his recent stats with the Flyers, so you know what? I think it's a bit of a coincidence. To answer your question, like DPD, I guess, like what young players thrived under Rick Tocchet, like DPD, right? Like that's an automatic slam dunk. Remember, he also gave a lot of ice time to Archie Bains, trying to make him a thing. No, for real, he did. He gave like Archie Bains top 6, top 9 time all the time. Yeah, to answer your question, I think it's just the DPD. Trevor, like this particular case with like Rick Tocchet and like his deployment of young players, like I don't know if we're just overthinking it or if we're just like, how do I say this? Like, what are the chances that Michkov and Pettersson show up to camp out of shape, and then a guy like Rick Tocchet, who's like a fitness junkie, immediately gets turned off? Like, I feel like that's a no for Rick Tocchet. Like, you do that, that shows that you're not serious about what it takes to be an elite NHL player, being an important player on a team. Like, you want your guys training in the summer. I know, everyone's warranted a vacation and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, in the modern era, it's like, dude, being a hockey player is a 12-month job. It is. And I think he just gets turned off of, again, guys that show up quote unquote fat. Can you see that word in 2026? No, chubby, in September. So I don't know, Trevor. That's what I'm thinking. I think that like once you cross that line with them, it's like over or almost over. And if he doesn't see that you're like the last one off the ice on all these practices, and if he sees that you're not on the ice on mandatory days as well to make up for it, he's probably like, yo, screw this guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a little torn on this again, and not following the Philadelphia Flyers maybe as closely as the Canucks, but yeah, I think if you come into camp out of shape and you're a young guy, like it shows entitlement, right? I think that thought was floating around the Canucks dressing room. Elias Pettersson showed up out of shape, right? It's like, here's this guy just getting $11.6 million a season, and yeah, there was the tendonitis and all that, but showing up to camp out of shape when you're one of the most important players on the roster, that is a red flag. But that being said, like I said off the top, like development matters in Philadelphia. Like it's not about winning the Stanley Cup right now. It's about developing the young guys. And Michkov's the most elite young talent they have. Like if there's no Michkov, like what are you even doing here? Like we're talking about, maybe Porter Martone coming and save the day someday, right? Like
yeah,
there's just those guys don't exist in Philadelphia right now. You need to find a way to make it work with Matvei Michkov. And I think part of the frustration with Flyers fans too is they signed this guy for 5 years. Right. And I mean, sure, you can fire coaches and pay his fat contract. Sorry, I guess you can't say that word in 2026. I'm talking about the money, though. You can fire him and pay his fat contract, but that's a big ticket if you're going to fire Rick Tocchet after a season or even 2 seasons, right?
But here's the thing, too. Like outside of like all the noise that's happened this year with Michkov and all that jazz, like even right now, I just looked on Twitter, I searched up Matvei Michkov, and supposedly yesterday there was like a Flyers fan appreciation thing at, do they still call it the Wachovia Center or whatever? I don't even know what anyways. And like the biggest lineup was from Matvei Michkov. Again, guys in year 2, fan favorite. They're probably a sentimental about that. But I remember like when Tocchet signed with the Flyers, like I feel as if I was more upset about him leaving than I feel like Flyers fans were more upset about him coming to Philadelphia, some of them, as opposed to me being upset about him leaving. Like a lot of Flyers fans didn't want him because we had the admiration for Rick Tocchet, or some of us, even though he coached horribly. I wouldn't say he coached horribly last year, but his offensive abilities as a coach were exploited for like 16 months, like post February 2024 onwards. Like he sucked as an offensive coach. And I think some Flyers fans saw that and they're like, yo, in the modern NHL, I don't want that. And maybe they link that to a guy like Matvei Michkov, like this guy's the future and this guy's going to like take that away from Matvei. Like this thing had a recipe to quote unquote blow up. And I'm not saying it's already there. Like I doubt the Flyers fire Rick Tocchet because of their mishandling of Matvei Michkov, but like some Flyers fans did predict this, Trevor. Like, and if you look at Rick Tocchet's like coaching history, he's one of the worst coaches in NHL history. outside of one season. No, Trevor, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Like Rick Tocchet, outside of 2024, outside of maybe like one bubble season with the Arizona Coyotes, as a head coach, Rick Tocchet has always sucked.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at his coaching record, he's, like you said, made the playoffs twice, and once was he kind of fluked it in a bubble season. His team had a barely above a 500 record at the time of the COVID shutdown. I mean, they would have missed the playoffs if the playoffs started then, right? They were on the outside looking in. Yeah, his coaching record is not so great when you look at it, right? I mean, how many seasons is that now? I'm trying to count. Is that nine seasons? He's made the playoffs once, twice if you count the bubbles. I mean, yeah, it's not great. I mean, I know he's put in a bad situation in Tampa. Arizona got better under his watch. They went from league worst to mushy middle. But yeah, I think he's got his detractors as a head coach in the NHL. And look, he did some good work here. But there's obviously some flaws here too, right? And Kyle, maybe I'll end it on this, but there's always one young player that you felt got treated unfairly under Rick Tocchet, and I know it's a goalie, but it was Artur Shilovs. I mean, you hated last season the way Artur Shilovs was used. Rick Tocchet always going back to the veterans, whether it was trying to jam in some more minutes for Demko or just giving Kevin Lankin the ropes, and kind of shattering the confidence of a young goalie like Shilovs, who has gone on to, had a great Calder Cup run and had a good start to this season, at least the Pittsburgh Penguins. So a bit of a different situation, but yeah, man, oh man, it just I gotta say, it does make me a little happy that the dude who quit on the Vancouver Canucks is just being lambasted by his fan base right now.
Yeah, and Trevor, like maybe you can touch on this towards the end of the episode. I don't know what your news and notes are, but you did bring up something on the phone conversation before we started the episode, and like you said something like outside of like Quinn Hughes, like everyone was just a fraud on this team, And Rick Tocchet's one of those people. And on that note, Trevor, you and I are frauds because we believed in Rick Tocchet. We believed in Miller. We believed in Pettersson. We believed in what those three and what Quinn Hughes was going to do. And man, oh man, like, I don't know. What you told me on the phone was like,
yeah, like I said, the core is fraudulent. The Canucks core is fraudulent is what I said, right? I mean, I know it's been dismantled now, but outside of Quinn Hughes, you have a floundering Elias Pettersson, you have JT Miller, doing the same old lazy backcheck stuff with the Rangers and not playing all that well. You had Rick Tocchet, who was probably an overrated coach. You had Brock Besser, who's not the full 40 goal scorer he thought he might be. This really was a fraudulent team outside of Quinn Hughes and a fraudulent core.
And Thatcher Demko playing out of his mind. And, if we don't play Barry Trotz and the Nashville Predators in round one, I don't know. I don't want to go too far into that because we always beat the Oilers too. But like systematically speaking, I feel like the team caught fire. And that's what they were able to like capitalize on, even in parts of the Oilers series. But yeah, outside of playing like some stingy defense, like they really, I don't know what Rick Tocchet learned in his coaching time. Like even his hiring of like Yuri Slafkovsky or whatever. I don't know. Like all in all, Rick Tocchet is Rick Tocchet. You know what I'm saying? And Quinn Hughes is Quinn Hughes. Okay. On the other side, again, if you're new to Locked On Canucks, welcome. If you're old to Locked On Canucks or like a longtime listener, thanks for being here. For the rest of the season, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Canucks talk, but there's going to be a lot of NHL talk too. So let's talk about Quinn Hughes in the Minnesota Wild and how I'm banning the Minnesota Wild from like my social media. Like I don't want to follow these guys for the rest of the year. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. We'll talk a little bit about Minnesota. Maybe we'll talk a bit about Barry Trotz as well. That's coming up next on Locked On Canucks.
Oh, man.
All right, let's shout out our friends over at Gametime. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena, man. It might be time for me to switch sports altogether. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Gametime has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans, baby. And you don't have to just find tickets for NBA on there, You don't have to drive down to Portland. You can find tickets for the Vancouver Whitecaps coming back to town. Boom, bam. If you want some winning in Vancouver, I think they have like 8 of the first 9 games at home at BC Place. I better go watch them before they leave. Oh my God, man. Vancouver, what's going on? Vancouver Canucks, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. You can find it all on Gametime. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs at the Don't Doze Art Lab. Trevor, you brought your kids over the other day. It was a good time. We played hide and seek, and I haven't played that game in a long time. And I think it's safe to say that I was the MVP of that game, Trevor.
Oh, dude, your one hiding spot where you're just like napping in the chair in the corner. Oh, my kids were fooled, man. They had no idea. And I hope you're in good health, man, because I'm at home today with with one sick kid. My other kid, his daycare is closed, so I ditched my kids for the podcast, man, because I'm fan first. Let's go.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying your kids were sick? They came to the studio. You're surprised I'm not sick.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're okay. Yeah.
After your kids left because they were coughing a lot, I ran over to Choices and got some ginger shots because
nice.
I'm scared of the cold. Anyways, comments. Man, oh man, NGK saying Quinn Hughes and JT Miller. I'm going to throw Thatcher Demko in this comment too. Practically handed Rick Tocchet the Jackhat Adams themselves way back when in 2024. Again, we just like pooped out all over Rick Tocchet and his forehead in the first segment of today's episode. Trevor, I'll say this before you move off the topic. Just again, I want to be philosophical with you for a bit when it comes to like coaching. I think it's pretty clear that Rick Tocchet obviously has to get better at this whole coaching thing, but B, he just has to find a way to get through to players and adapt to what they're dealing with, as opposed to only wanting them to adapt what he wants out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to get the most out of his players, as opposed to like thinking they got to do more. And yo, you know me, I'm harsh. I'm like, yo, players. It's on the players. But clearly, he like the coach's job is to like be efficient when it comes to like problem solving, and come on, it can't take every single time like Rick Tocchet cannot be banking on the off season for Matvei Michkov to turn it around. Like, he needs to have more patience, and this is what he should have done with Pettersson too, to figure out a way to get Pettersson going ASAP instead of like creating this plan for him and being like, oh, meet me halfway. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's got to get better at handling stuff in season.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just hold a grudge from day one and just say, well, you better get there or else you're not going to play. It's, it's a tough job as a coach. You got to draw a fine line. But when you talk about the stars of your organization, like the guys that your team's going to ride and die with, you got to find a way to make it work. Like, the mentality of just, yelling at guys, like it just doesn't work anymore. It really doesn't. So, yeah, I mean, but I hope he doesn't figure it out in Philadelphia, because I need someone to laugh at as a petty Canucks fan.
I hope Rick Tocchet finds you in a dark alley and chokes you.
Who knows, man? I mean, Adam Foote and Rick Tocchet might tag team me one day.
Okay. You know what? Let's get to the next segment.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
He thought this was a Canucks show.
Okay, this is the part of the show where we continue to talk about more things outside the Vancouver Canucks. And yeah, we're going to talk about Minnesota and Quinn Hughes and quinning and all that jazz. But first, Trevor, let's talk about the goalie fight or the Stadium Series game from last night. And I just saw the highlights. Looked like an amazing game. The Tampa Bay Lightning, everyone just counted them out, right? You can't count out championship culture. Like, when you win that many Stanley Cups in a short amount of time and you still have like star players and you still have John Cooper and Julien Brisebois, like, you have to believe in the team's ability, even if they're getting older and losing assets, that they can like dig deep and get the most out of themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing once again, right? And they're down 4 goals or whatever, 3 goals last night. They come back and win it, and John Cooper dressing up like Scarface. We got a goalie fight. Like, honestly speaking, Trevor, yesterday, like that goalie fight in that stadium, that's one of the coolest moments in sport all of 2026. I know 2026 just started, but I think in 11 months, when we do the countdowns, like, you got to like prop that up, put it on a pedestal, and be like, yo, this is why the NHL is the coolest sport in the world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I even see a comment from Dale Smith saying, not much of a fight. I mean, just the fact that 2 dudes dressed in the goalie gear decided to scrap it out in an outdoor stadium. And like, we see goalie fights like once every like 5 years, and now we've had like 2 in 2 weeks. It's unreal, man. And for Tampa to come back in that game after the goalie fight, I know they had 1 goal, it was 5-2 at the time, but yeah, and now I think more goalies may be thinking about dropping the gloves, right? Like, let's spark the team, let's spark the boys, let's go. Because honestly, just the fact that you have goalies chucking them, it doesn't have to be this insane fight. Like, just the fact that guys in pads like that are going out there and scrapping, it's unreal entertainment, man. And last night, I mean, look, I think the cachet from outdoor games has been gone for a while, right? But I mean, last night was a pretty memorable one for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's like, again, I didn't watch the whole game, only saw the highlights, but you can kind of feel the ambiance too, especially with the buildup of how that game went, like how special of a moment that was. And like the Stadium Series games, like, dude, I don't even know what to say. Like I'm trying to make a joke here, but what do I watch more baseball than I do. Like, I've watched more Blue Jays games over the last 10 years than I have Stadium Series games. And all those Blue Jays games were like a couple months ago, for real. Like, it's not a thing for me, but I mean, they probably signed like a 50-year lease after what they saw last night, because that was really cool. Anyways, speaking of things that are cool, Quinn Hughes, man. Obviously, he's the biggest quitter in Vancouver Canucks captain history. Quit so early. Like, obviously, the team would be cancerous and like down on themselves if Quinn just quit 25 games into the season. He's a big reason for that. But man, oh man, Quinn Hughes is almost like, put it this way, Trevor. Since the trade, Quinn Hughes is what, maybe like 3 points or 4 points away from like having more points than any Canucks player would have all season this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that many points away from outpacing Elias Pettersson. Quinn Hughes is on fire. Minnesota is a contender. They truly are. And if Quinn Hughes can survive the first round, like if he looks comfortable in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, he's not afraid of contact. I'm not saying he is, but you know, like you got Kiefer Sherwood killed him in round one a couple years ago. Like if he's able to avoid injury, Minnesota, based on how that guy's going, like again, I keep making this joke. Like I'm pretty sure Minnesota Wild fans are about to forget about Kirill Kaprizov because Quinn Hughes is that damn good. Like, Quinn Hughes may win a Stanley Cup this year. That's how good he's playing, man. I know defensively he's still that guy, but he's not like perfect yet. He's not systematically like locked into like what that team is doing. It's hard to practice this year in the NHL, but we all know Quinn Hughes is a good defensive defenseman as well. But bro, this guy is feeling himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to get past the Colorado Avalanche, but I think right now a lot of people would feel confident in beating the Dallas Stars, right? But anyways, like that's going to be a hell of a playoff matchup, whatever Quinn Hughes is in, just because of the three teams in that division who are going to have to go through each other just to get to the conference finals themselves. But yeah, he's been unreal. And I think one thing I found really interesting is that Minnesota's playing the wheels off of Quinn Hughes, like even more than the Vancouver Canucks did. Like since the trade, Kyle, he's averaging over 28 minutes a game. He's almost 2 minutes ahead of the next closest guy, which is Zach Werenski. Like, even though they got like, some other good defensemen there in Minnesota, it's not like in Vancouver where he was the guy. They're still like absolutely playing the wheels off of him. And honestly, like if his body can hold up through it and he can keep eluding defenders and not get hit, like why wouldn't you play the wheels off this guy? I mean, he's insane. And like you said, just in his run with Minnesota right now, he's almost got more points than anyone on the Canucks right now. It's just unreal. And
that's embarrassing.
I gotta say this. I know he quit on the Vancouver Canucks. And every Dares know I've said this before. I still blame the Canucks as an organization more than Quinn Hughes for that. He still quit. He still has to share some of the blame. I still want to see Minnesota, get pounded in the first round this year so we can get a higher draft pick. But maybe in 2027, when we don't have any picks attached to it, like go off, man. Go off and do some magical things there. And who knows? Like I think it'd be kind of funny if you decided to re-sign in Minnesota and not go to New Jersey. So that's what I'm hoping for. Like a quick first round exit, Minnesota Wild learn a lesson, and then in 2027 they can go on a run. I'll be okay with that.
I mean, part of me, like, no, I want him to leave Minnesota after next year. I do. Just make us feel better about the trade. But I'm more curious to see how I feel about him come Olympics. Like, I wonder if that anger will come out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be like Team Canada versus Team USA. Quinn Hughes wasn't there last year. You can make the argument that if Quinn Hughes plays for Team USA last year, do they beat Team Canada in the gold medal game? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's Quinn Hughes, right? It's Quinn Hughes. It's not Jack Hughes. It's Quinn Hughes. It's going to be interesting. And Trevor, I'm not joking. To take care of my mental health, I'm done following any Minnesota Wild like social media accounts. I'll go watch the highlights every now and then. Like maybe when they're in the playoffs, like you kind of get like you know what I'm saying. But I don't want to be like sitting on the toilet or like chilling with my girlfriend and like chilling with my ex, all at the same time. Chilling on the toilet, chilling with my girlfriend, chilling with my ex at the same time. Okay. You know what I'm trying to say, Trevor? I don't want to like be on my phone and get traumatized. I think the kids call it being triggered. And in Minnesota, like they keep tweeting out things about Quinn Hughes. Like, oh, he just broke this record. Oh, we just broke this record. Oh, we just broke this record. Oh, look at Quinn Hughes go coast to coast. Enough is enough, man.
Yeah, no, he's been unreal, man. I don't got much more to say about it. So let's go to the other side because the Canucks really screwed up, man. They really did. And let's just go get a bunch of draft picks in 2026. Maybe more on that on the other side as we wrap up on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. And let us know in the comments, should Kyle come to my Super Bowl party or his dad's Super Bowl party? It's the first best dad in the world versus the second best dad in the world. What's Kyle going to choose? We'll find out next Monday. But if you're on FanDuel, again, go check them out. If you're a new customer, you can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Let's go Seahawks, baby. And go visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Well, I guess finally talking about your Vancouver Canucks. I mean, it took us 27 minutes today, but I feel good. Trevor, honestly, this is not what the company wants. This is a Canucks show. Got to talk about the Canucks, and like we got to talk about Max Sasson and his development this year, and we got to talk about, all this stuff in Saturday night's game and recap that and whatnot. But I feel lighter today, Trevor. 28 minutes into this episode. This was nice. And maybe it's because I wrote in the Substack again. Hit the link in the bio. Maybe it's because my children's book is coming out in a couple months too. Hit that link in the bio. But all in all, I'm enjoying hockey again, and I'm enjoying this change of pace that we've done here on Locked On Canucks.
Hey, man, you got to, it's Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. I think if we talk about the development of Max Sasson and Aatu Ratu and, DPD, it does get a little old. We gotta save some juice, and we gotta, I do think like looking at Rick Tocchet and what's going on and other ex-Canucks, like that's a big part of the story too, right? Some guys decided to leave. I mean, those are certainly stories worth following. In terms of Canucks today, Heedle's sticking on the wing. That was part of the morning line rushes today down in Utah, and Aatu Ratu is playing on the third line in place of Connor Garland. I just find it interesting. Like Heedle and Ratu are now playing at wing. I know Ratu is really a fill-in for Connor Garland. But yeah, I mean, look, I think for me, maybe one of the biggest takeaways over the past couple of games has been the development of DPD. That guy's been unreal for the past couple of games, Kyle. I'm going to leave it too quickly. My son's crying. 1 second.
Okay, do your thing. I wonder if Trevor's been seeing like how do I say this? Progress in DPD's game. Like, has DPD actually been that good, or are we just glazing, quote unquote, because he's the only guy that gives up, when one of his players or his goalie gets touched? Like Elias Pettersson is the only tough Canuck, right? He's the only son of a gun. He's the only one that has a bit of emotion in him. So Trevor, can you elaborate on what you're seeing from DPD? Because a part of me is critiquing your judgment on him, because I'm oh, maybe you're just loving his progress because he's being mean.
I think it's more than that, to be honest. That's certainly a part of it when you got a softer than my baby's ass Canucks team.
Yeah.
I think it's actually him holding on to the puck a bit longer as well. I would say that for most of the season, he's been pretty jumpy with the puck on his stick. Like how we talked about, I think back in December, but he was making Tyler Myers mistakes, but he actually had the hustle to get back and kind of, correct those mistakes for the most part. But he's just holding on to the puck a little bit longer now, just making better plays overall. Something Adam Foote talked about after the game on Thursday night where they beat the Anaheim Ducks. Again, he's just looking more confident out there, mainly with the puck on his stick. I think that's the biggest thing for me right now. And Kyle, one thing I got to say too is just being around the rink more. Like DPD and Tom Willander are like best buds, man. They're always like razzing each other at practice. They're always like they're some of the only guys like hanging around the dressing room chatting. I think that's an important thing because, they're both a big part of the Canucks future right now. A lot of other guys are a little bit aloof in the locker room and maybe don't look like they're having the best time out of practice, but DPD and Tom Willander, they seem to get along great. They seem to be great friends, and the Canucks need some of that positive energy with their team.
Yeah, and to carry off of what you just said about Tom Willander, it's pretty clear that he's not just like playing comfortable, but he's, I don't know, like seems accountable or like wants to get in front of the microphones. I feel like he's getting closer and closer to already feeling like he's a big part of the team. Like, I'm not saying like it's just given to him or it's like warranted. I'm saying like he wants that, whether it be, again, doing more press or just either being charismatic in the room and like having people gravitate towards him. And Trevor, we only got a couple minutes left, but I'll let you talk about Lekkerimäki and then Willander as well. But not all has been bad not all has been bad this season. It's been one of the worst seasons in Canucks history. Like, you could argue that it's the worst. But Lekkerimäki's development, to me, in the AHL, still a stud, doing his thing. It's hard to have success as an offensive player with this team in the NHL, but, he's done it a couple times this year. And Tom Willander, man, like, how has this guy gotten better throughout the year when the captain leaves? There's no leadership in that room outside of the fifth best defenseman, Tyler Myers. Like, this is not the place. Oh, yeah, and Adam Foote's your head coach. Like, this is not like the place you develop. But I feel like Tom Willander instinctually and just naturally has that ability to just get used to things quickly, right? Like, look how bad he was in September, quote unquote, in preseason. Plays a couple of games in the AHL and he's already kind of ready to be like the sixth defenseman on Vancouver, sorry. And like, look at him now. Like, he's like, I don't know. Do you think this is the case of like us looking for answers? Like, anything looks shiny? I don't know. I think Tom Willander actually is shiny.
Yeah, I think there's been, there's always been some warts in his defensive game, which is fair of a guy who was mainly just playing NCAA or was playing NCAA last year, right? This is his first full professional season. I do think just from talking to Tom Willander, like, this guy, he's got a good head on his shoulders. I know it's a bit cliche, but this is a guy, like, even when I talked to him in preseason, who thought that he would have benefited from being in the AHL a little bit longer. Like, he kind of knew where his own game was at. You listen to him kind of give other interviews, prior to even coming to Vancouver in the fall for training camp. It's a guy who's a sponge, a guy who wants to get better, a guy who's driven to learn, driven to succeed. Like, he says all the right things. He got a fire under his belly. And I know there's a whole thing about the contract dispute and whatnot, but I really do think that he's a sharp guy and he's willing to learn, and he's got the hustle to kind of back it up too.
Yeah, 100%. And Lekkerimäki, I mean, the shot he had on Saturday, quick release, does his thing, goes bar down. I was more excited that he was excited to score. Like, that felt like a big deal for him. But moving forward, I mean, if Canuck fans are looking for anything to like grab onto for the rest of the year, I think keeping a close eye on Jonathan Lekkerimäki's development is at the top of the list, because this team needs high end power. There's, especially on the wing, there's no belief in Besser anymore being a stud. Like, maybe Lekkerimäki is like the closest thing to a 30-goal scorer on this team.
Yeah, I think the coaching staff has to find, I don't know if it's this coaching staff, but they got to find creative ways to get him open at even strength, right? Just the play he made the other night, just to sneak into the slot and let that shot go. It's so hard to find space in the NHL, but I think that's the key to unlocking Lekkerimäki, because he's not really a guy who's going to win a ton of board battles for you. But if you got guys who can win board battles, and I think that's why, at least in theory, the fit with Liam Ogren has worked in the past at other levels and can work at the NHL level. If you can get like some guys on the boards who are strong in the pucks, can win battles, and can find Lekkerimäki in open spaces, that's the best way to have him succeed. And if you're able to do that, like, I trust this guy is going to be an awesome, like a stud on the power play. But can you unlock him at even strength where his production gets to a top 6 level? I think that's the next key for Jonathan Lekkerimäki. But Yeah, I mean, I'm super impressed by what he's done in the AHL. I love when he can find space and get a shot off. It just hasn't happened a lot at the NHL level. So if this Canucks coaching staff can pull it off, I mean, I don't have a ton of faith in it, but that is the next key to unlocking Lekkerimäki. Get him teammates who can find him the puck at even strength.
I would say play him with Elias Pettersson, but I feel like I don't know. Elias Pettersson is Jonathan Huberdeau. So how much is that gonna do right now? I mean, I don't want to go there. Trevor, see what you did there, Trevor? See how you did there. See what you did there, buddy. You made me go dark. Yeah, I'd rather talk about my ex-girlfriend than talk about Elias Pettersson, okay? Right, Trevor?
I know one day Elias Pettersson will be your ex-girlfriend too, Kyle. It's all good. That was another episode of Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, hit the goddamn like button. Subscribe to the show on the podcast side. Go follow us. Leave a 5-star review. You can support Kyle and I and our other ventures as well as if you like. Kyle just is dropping a children's book. Link for that in the bio. I'm also working on my business as a financial advisor. You can check out the link in the bio for more on that as well. Maybe we'll catch you for the post game later tonight, but we'll for sure be back tomorrow here on Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.